Mr. T has been a horse that needed a little bit of time to settle his mind and figure some things out when changing direction, ground driving, and when mounting. And if you saw the last video of him, he had a good ways to go before he was ready to really advance. This video here, you're going to see what the kind of things that I'm really looking for. His change of direction when he's driving is better. His driving itself is better. He's much better when I go to step on him. We're going to talk about what he's doing and what I'm looking for. Right there when I put the driving lines on, he kind of trotted out a little bit quick, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a panic like it was before. Right there, I still have him in a circle, bouncing that one rein around a little bit. There, he stopped and gave in and looked at me. I was bouncing the rein a little bit because he was starting to panic just a little bit, and his mind wasn't really kicking in. That's what I've really been after. When he gets worried, I want him to think things through. And as long as he's thinking things through, he's not going to panic. And everything's going to go better for him, and everything's going to go better for me on being on his back. Now he's starting to settle in. I brought him out here. I didn't lunge him. I didn't do anything. I brought him out here. I saddled him up, and that was us driving off. I want him to engage his brain and think right away. I don't want him to have to be lunged down any. He's an Arabian, so that really doesn't work very good with Arabians anyways. But I want him immediately, when that saddle goes on his back, his working brain starts to work. And right there, he's trotting a little bit, but it's not a panicky trot. He's just wanting to go a little forward. That's just a little bit of a forward horse. There was a little bit of worry, but he kind of worked things out. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. He thinks, he works things out, and things get a little bit better. And right there, this forward right here is really more just being a little bit fresh than anything. It's not really panicky. It's not really doing anything terrible. It's just being a little bit fresh, going a little bit forward. But when I change directions, he's coming back to me instead of panicking and going faster, which is what he was doing before. As you see here, he's settled down and he's driving pretty nice. This is what I'm looking for here. I want to be able to just walk, steer right, see me out of the right eye, steer left, see me out of the left eye, and just stay relaxed and walk forward. I recorded a couple of videos recently and forgot to turn on my microphone, and this was one of them. So I'm voicing over after the fact. This has given me the opportunity to work on my walk-on cue, my tick. I usually use a tick to walk. My body position will help him to walk. I'll be able to steer left and right. We'll work a little bit of stop, a little bit of backup. This gives me the opportunity to make sure all of those cues are there before I ever get on his back. He keeps getting his head down low to the ground. I really wish he wouldn't put it down that low. I think he steps over the rein and I have to untangle him a couple of times. But I don't like to run him through the stirrup. If I have to stop and untangle him, that's not a big deal. That'll give me the opportunity to work through him getting panicked with the lines around his legs. When they run through the stirrup, then when he does panic and go forward, I'm not able to go into as good of a lunging position as what you saw a little bit ago when we started, where he was pushing forward and I just had one rein and he was lunging around me. if it's going through the stirrup, I can't really do that as good. And the trade-off for that is the reins are a little harder to drive, a little harder. If he puts his head down, he might step over them. So I might have to stop and redo the reins a couple of times. But the other side of that is he learns to not panic. He learns to kind of handle when he steps over a rein. So that's okay too. That's still learning. Everything is an opportunity to learn, and that's what we're after here, is for him to learn. And once in a while we might learn how to untangle a rein around his legs when we're not working on driving. It's not a big deal. It's all learning. A lot of people get caught up in whatever they're doing with their horse, whether it's lunging or driving or maybe even on their back working circles or something, and it's not going good. But they get kind of caught up in what they're doing at the moment and not really realizing that even when it's not going like you want, it's still an opportunity for the horse to learn. It's an opportunity for you to teach the horse something. It just might not be what you wanted to teach the horse at that moment, but it's still an opportunity to teach. You don't ever want to miss out on those opportunities. There was a little bit of a stop. See if he's backing. Yeah, a little bit of a backup. That's pretty nice. Really nothing to complain about there at all. So he's giving me what I want driving. I'm going to attach the reins and I'm going to see if he gives me what I want stepping up in the saddle. Before, if you saw that video, when I'd go to step up in the saddle, he was moving his feet a lot, kind of similar to how he was kind of going forward and pushing through the reins before. Well, now he's not pushing through the driving lines, so I'm hoping that he's not going to push through the reins when I go to step up in the saddle. If I would have just kind of ignored the issues that he was giving me driving and stepping up in the saddle and would have continued on forward, those same problems would have transferred to working in the saddle. And I would have had to get them worked out from in the saddle, which would have put me in not as good a position and really could have carried through to a not good situation when I sent the horse home for his owner. So we want to get these things worked out. We want to get his mind worked out so that it's good before we proceed at this point. There's some things I've talked about. Some things don't have to be 100% before you move on. But this situation where I want his mind to be in the game, I want it to be in the game 100% before we walk off. It might not have to be in the game 100% for me to start stepping on his in the stirrup, but it has to be 100% for me to get on and sit down and walk off. That's standing much better than what he was doing before. Before he was walking circles and kicking over the mountain block and falling over the mountain block and all kind of things that just weren't very good. Much, much better. There he kind of scooted away from the step a little bit, and I was able to go ahead and step up. But once I put weight in the stirrup, he stood. That's what we were missing before. Before, when I was going to put weight in the stirrup or going ahead and standing in the stirrup, he was still wallowing all over the place. Now he's learning to stand, and his thinking brain is working. His brain is thinking about what's happening. That's what we need. He's still grabbing the rein with his mouth, but that's not a huge deal. So I've talked about forward is a good thing. And when we're first starting these colts, forward is a good thing. We want forward as long as the feet are moving forward. There's a lot less chances of something bad happening. Now, he's not, I had forward before, but it wasn't really forward. It's just spastic reactive movement. Now I want his body to relax, and I'll be putting forward back in, but in a relaxed way. It'll be a forward. That's why I step down, move his feet forward, and then we step back up again. Put forward in a controlled, relaxed way. Horses like this Arabian here, a lot of people don't take their time to get the horse to relax and slow down and think about things like what I do with them, and that causes issues um, that give like Arabians a bad name, and it's not the Arabians' fault. It's not the horse's fault. It's how they were started and not given a chance to relax and think about what you're asking them to do. Some of the other Arabians I work, you see me put a whole bunch of ground poles and obstacles down in the arena to give the horse something to focus on, something to think about. Because those horses, their attention was out the arena and not really thinking about what I was doing. And by putting the obstacles on the ground, that got their attention into the arena and more focused in the arena where they would think about me and what I was doing. With him, I haven't had to do that. His attention has been on me pretty good, so I haven't had to put those obstacles down in the arena to bring his focus into the arena. That's just one of those things that I adjust as the horse needs. And you've seen me do it a lot with Arabians, or several times with Arabians, but I've done it with other breeds too. And anytime I need to get that horse's attention into the arena on me, that's what I'll do. I'm not a big fan of like solid walled arenas. I know there's some solid walled round pens that some people like to work in. I'm not a big fan of that because I want the horse to bring its attention into the workspace onto me, no matter what distractions there are out there. To me, that's really important. And I'm not doing this in a round pen. People get dependent on those round pens and they become a crutch and start doing things with the horse because they know that that round pen's going to save them, that round pen's going to bail them out. I don't want to do that. This is a 60 by 90 covered riding area. It's a bigger space. And I don't want, once we get the feet moving, we got a bigger space to go in. And that's a big deal, going from that closed in round pen out to a bigger space. Now I'm going to know that I have the tools for the horse to ride in that bigger space. To me, that's important. That's why you rarely see us start one in the round pen. Usually, if one is might going to give us a problem, we start with them ponied off a bob instead of in the round pen. we will do the ponying off of Bob in here, and that helps the horse that's being started to give them a little bit of a buddy, so that they want to follow that horse around. It gives them a little bit of confidence. So that's the tactic that we take when we start horses and when we work horses. I have a round pen, but I rarely use it to start a horse. I usually, when I need to turn a horse out someplace, I'll turn them out there. I rarely use it as a round pen to start a horse. Now at this point, I'm just stepping up and down, building his confidence that when I'm up there, nothing bad is going to happen. I want his body to relax. I'm not really asking him to move. I'm just stepping up there, bringing my energy down, relaxing, petting on him. Right there. I'm waiting for him to kind of settle before I swing my leg over. I'm feeling that his back is a little tense, his neck is a little tense. See how he's moving his neck around. Step back down and do it again. Mr. T is a very sensible horse, and given it when he gets a chance to think, if you don't just kind of throw things at him, if you give him a chance to think, he makes good decisions. But you have to give him a chance to figure that out. That was a little bit better. I'll do a little bit more than what I was doing before to help him with his feet. As you see there, his front feet are pretty close together. In the beginning, when he really wasn't trying very hard, he wasn't thinking, he was just kind of reacting. I didn't do much to help him with position his feet before I put weight in the stirrup, because I wanted him to think things through and him to think about where to put his feet. Now that he's thinking a little bit, I'll help him a little bit. I'm still not helping him as much as other horses like Guinevere. Still not helping him as much because I want him to have to put some thought into it, have to think about it. And that's going to just start training his mind to think about what's going to happen and be prepared for what's going to happen. If I could shake the saddle around to help him be better prepared to take the weight, but that's not really going to help him think through, hey, if I get my feet a little bit better, I'll be better situated to take the weight. So if you'd like to contact me about sending your horse in for training, you can message me at my email address here on the screen, and we can talk about what you have. Mr. T here is going to have a playlist on YouTube of all his videos, and you can click on that playlist to see his full progress. Until next time, thank you for watching.